up, everybody? I'm Stella Chung, and you're watching The Weekly Fix, the roundup show that recaps all the biggest gaming and entertainment headlines that you may have missed out on. This week's episode is packed with ups and downs, what with the surprise release of Halo Infinite multiplayer and the disastrous launch of the Grand Theft Auto Definitive Edition Trilogy. On the entertainment side, we've got more Halo news and a bunch of Disney Plus announcements. It's been a busy week.
Xbox surprised its fans during today's 20th anniversary celebration by releasing Halo Infinite's free-to-play multiplayer today. Originally meant to launch alongside the campaign December 8th, the news came today during the stream honoring 20 years since the release of the original Xbox. The surprise announcement is a pretty sick way to celebrate the anniversary, considering Halo Combat Evolved was a launch game for the original Xbox. Unlike previous Halo games, the multiplayer and campaign modes are two separate releases, with the former free to play, while the latter will retail at $60. Halo Infinite was originally set to release as a launch title alongside the Series X and S game console before Microsoft delayed the game into 2021 due to COVID-related impacts. If you want to learn more about Halo Infinite, IGN has exclusive coverage on the game running throughout this month. Now get out there and fight, Spartans! Continuing the theme of the day, head of Xbox Phil Spencer all but confirmed that The Elder Scrolls 6 will be an Xbox console exclusive. In an interview with British GQ, Spencer said he sees the next installment of Skyrim to have a similar release as Bethesda's Starfield, which is confirmed for Xbox Series X, S, and PC. The reasoning? Spencer explains that the Xbox ecosystem can offer more, leveraging cloud gaming, Xbox Live services, and other IPs. Xbox acquired Bethesda's parent company ZeniMax Media back in March of this year, which sparked the debate of where Bethesda's biggest franchise, Elder Scrolls, would be released and the impact it would have on competing platforms. Previously, Microsoft had stated Bethesda games would be released first or better or best on Xbox, hinting it would come to other platforms, with Bethesda's Todd Howard also chiming in that he did not see The Elder Scrolls 6 as an Xbox exclusive. Now it looks like that tune has changed, as Spencer seems a bit more confident that the open-world RPG giant will remain on Microsoft platforms. Keep in mind that The Elder Scrolls 6 is a ways away from being released, as it's still in its design phase, with Starfield currently in production with a release date of fall of next year. So it will be some years before we get to play Elder Scrolls 6 on any platform. Take a deep breath and exhale, then prepare to get pissed off again, because GTA the Trilogy, the Definitive Edition's launch has faced a multitude of issues. Geez, where do I begin? Starting off, graphic fidelity and quality concerns were a focal point in our game subreddit that has now amassed 1,300 comments documenting concerns of performance options for the remastered, as well as criticism for Rockstar's lack of due diligence. Character models have been the butt of social media jokes, as many new models appear to be downgraded versions of the older originals. Like, seriously, what is going on here? Technical concerns around the game's open-world dynamic have also been met with complaints, as the game no longer adds atmospheric effects like fog to mask the player's world around them, and rain, which was meant to be purely aesthetic, now just blatantly blinds a player's field of view. Performance issues on the Switch version included erratic frame rates, long loading times, and visual downgrades. Rockstar's launcher also suffered a fatal blow, as PC users are seemingly not able to play the game at all. Despite being a single-player game, the launcher is required to boot the GTA Trilogy and other Rockstar PC games. At the time of this fix, the PC version of the remastered GTA Trilogy is not available to buy on Rockstar's website, and those who did buy the game on PC are just not able to play it. Just a few hours after the release of the collection, Rockstar's Twitter support account explained services for the Rockstar Games launcher and supported titles are temporarily offline from maintenance. Services will return as soon as maintenance is completed. That means GTA Trilogy, GTA 5, and Red Dead Redemption 2 also cannot be played on PC at this moment. Rockstar is currently working on restoring services for the Rockstar's game launcher and supported titles, but there has been no clear messaging as to why the need for maintenance or how long the maintenance will take. Rockstar has confirmed the game has been pulled from sale because of the downtime, and many have turned to Twitter to complain that having an online launcher required to play any of Rockstar's single-player game is beyond stupid. In addition to missing elements from the original games, typos, and misreadings, Rockstar also has removed modding within the game, threatening legal action against modders, specifically mods made for the 3 games in the collection. As a result, mods that improve the original version looks, add extra content, or perhaps make them in any way more desirable than the definitive edition versions are no longer available. Because of the threat of legal action, modders have voluntarily taken down their work, with some worried that GTA modding as a whole will effectively come to an end due to this chilling effect. Rockstar has also removed all digital versions of GTA 3, GTA Vice City, and GTA San Andreas from sales ahead of the trilogy's release, leaving the definitive collection as the only digital versions of the game available to new players. Considering these official remasters are extremely unappealing to many, we may have to wait for Rockstar to change gears before it's worth revisiting the classics. In better news, we got a look at Elden Ring multiplayer in the closed network test and both cooperative and PvP competitive modes. If you are familiar with From Software games, you'll remember that summoning and invasions are a significant part of their universe, and the same is true in Elden Ring. For those who want to play cooperatively, players will have to use a summoning system to invite other players into their world. This is done by one player being able to draw a sign on the ground. If players want to offer aid to another player, they would use the item Tarnished Furled Finger, which will draw a gold summon sign seen by other players. When activated, the player that used the item is summoned to another player's world. If players want to summon an ally, Furl Calling Finger Remedy grants the ability to see gold summoning signs. Unlike the Tarnished Furled Finger, Furl Calling Finger Remedies are consumable items with the closed network test providing 99 at start. Be mindful you will need to have one in stock before you can play co-op. Simply put, players can offer help at no cost, but to seek help, players must have a Furl Calling Finger Remedy in their inventory. Players will be able to limit who uses their signs by setting up a password system in the multiplayer menu. Co-op also doesn't provide a full experience, as the player who has been summoned into another player's world cannot activate Sight of Grace, Elden Ring versions of Dark Souls bonfires, or open chests, and have fewer number of restoratives than the host player. Upon death, summoned players will be sent back to their own world. The competitive multiplayer can be activated in a couple different ways. Players can use the Duelist Furled Finger, which, like the Tarnished Furled Finger, will draw a red summon sign on the floor, signaling to players in other worlds you're looking for a fight. Those who accept the challenge can summon the player to their world for an honorable duel. More aggressive players can opt to invade other players' worlds and hunt them down. To do this, players will use a bloody finger in the multiplayer menu, which will then search for other players who can be invaded and send players to that world. It should be mentioned that playing in co-op automatically opens you up to invasion, but in single player you can volunteer to be invaded by using the Taunter's Tongue, which acts kind of like a beacon to summon up to 2 invaders into your game. If you find yourself the victim of an invasion, you can send out a cry for help using the White Cipher Ring, which requests help from other worlds when invaded. Those who want to literally become someone's knight in shining armor to answer the call of a plea should activate the Blue Cipher Ring, which will whisk players away to save anyone in distress. This may seem complex, but the multiplayer menu does make it reasonably easy to understand, as it keeps all of these items accessible. It just got even harder to get a Sony PlayStation 5 and will remain that way from now to early 2022. Sony has reportedly cut production plan for the console by around 1 million units due to component shortages and logistical constraints. According to a report from Bloomberg, Sony was originally targeting more than 16 million PlayStation 5 units to be produced by March 2022, but that has now been cut down to 15 million. Sony's chief financial officer, Hiroki Totoki, recently told investors that logistical issues and part shortages have grown more severe, with July sales of the console having fallen behind the pace of its previous console, the PlayStation 4. We know that an ongoing global chip shortage has resulted in massive delays for other electronic devices, as the effects of COVID pandemic has made supply unpredictable. The Valve Steam Deck, the portable computer handheld, has also been struggling to meet its production schedule due to global supply chain issues, and just today the Playdate handheld was also delayed into early next year. With 1 million less units in rotation globally, scalpers are going to have a field day once again buying and selling PlayStation 5s. Ouch. Next up, get to know more about the definition of insanity.
Did I ever tell you the definition of insanity?
With the first Far Cry 6 rogue-like expansion, Voss Insanity, set to be released Tuesday, November 16th. According to a press release from Ubisoft, Michael Mandel returns to play the iconic villain Voss in a die and retry DLC where players will have nothing more than a pistol to defend themselves. Players will need to look for weapons and power-ups to become stronger and progress deeper into Voss's psyche. Fans will get a rare experience delving into Voss's past, personal demons, and motivation through intense action and storytelling. Voss Insanity will be the first of 3 episodic adventures, with each one focusing on a different Far Cry villain. The 2 remaining adventures will focus on Far Cry 4's Pagan Min and Far Cry 5's Joseph Seed, and will launch in January and March of 2022, respectively. Far Cry 6 Voss Insanity is due out November 16th and can be purchased as part of the game's Season Pass. The recent launch of Halo Infinite's multiplayer mode has been met with positive reactions for the most part, except for its Battle Pass progression plan as laid out till May 2nd of next year. Many fans have been upset by the grind needed to accrue XP, with only daily and weekly challenges going towards Battle Pass progression. Any XP from completing matches and playing the game isn't necessarily going towards the Battle Pass. The team at 343 Industry confirmed that it is currently assessing the game's controversial multiplayer progression system and will use player feedback to better balance it. A statement from 343 addresses the issue, saying, "While we understand the community's feedback around wanting a steady drip of match XP and more ways to earn XP for the Battle Pass, we are optimistic that the system available at launch will give players adequate means of continually having something to accomplish and a means to progress. Looking forward ahead beyond launch, we expect these systems to evolve in direct partnerships with player feedback." During Halo Infinite's previous technical playtest, players did raise concerns about the Battle Pass progression, mentioning the challengers were the only way to get XP to make any progress, and that this method ultimately breaks the flow of gameplay. Essentially, instead of gaining XP through matches, players would have to complete challenges like getting 15 needler kills through normal gameplay to earn XP towards their Battle Pass. Considering that 343 is actively listening, and as more feedback is given before the official launch of the game, we can hopefully look forward to some positive changes so that Spartans can enjoy playing again. Next up, Riot Forge. Riot Games' third-party publishing label announced 3 new games set in the League of Legends universe, with 2 more on the way. Ruined King, a League of Legends story, is a single-player turn-based RPG developed by Airship Syndicate, the same team behind Battle Chasers Night War and Darksiders Genesis. The game takes place in Runeterra's region of Bilgewater and the Shadow Isles, with some League of Legends characters like Ahri, Misfortune, and Braum investigating a blight known as the Black Mist. Ruined King is available to play now on PlayStation 4, Xbox, Switch, and PC via Steam, GOG, or Epic, with PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series XS versions coming soon. The standard edition of Ruined King will cost $29.99 USD. Riot Forge's second game to be released is Hextech Mayhem, a rhythm runner developed by Choice Provisions, the studio behind the Bit Trip series. In this game, players control explosive enthusiast Ziggs as he runs through a platformer-style world using special jumps, attacks, and power-ups to defeat enemies with bombs, all set to the beat of music. Hextech Mayhem is out now on Switch and PC via Epic, GOG, and Steam for $9.99 USD. Riot Forge's third game set to be released in 2022 is Song of Nunu, developed by Tequila Works, the studio behind Rhyme, The Sexy Brutale, and VR games like The Invisible Hour and Groundhog Day Like Father Like Son. Song of Nunu is said to be a single-player third-person adventure game following Nunu, a young boy who befriends a Yeti named Willem, as they adventure and explore the frigid landscape while solving puzzles with musical magic. Riot Forge plans to release a Song of Nunu on Switch, Xbox Series XS, Xbox One, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, and PC via Steam, GOG, and the Epic Game Store. The first of the 2 games Riot Forge teased, one currently titled Convergence, follows the story of League of Legends character Echo in a single-player 2D action platformer with time control mechanics. As Echo, players will explore the city of Piltover and Zaun as they try to save the city from those looking to destroy it. The game is being developed by Double Stallion, the studio behind other action games like Speed Brawl, OKKO Turbo, and Loud House Out of Control. The game is set to be out next year. Riot Forge also teased an Untitled game set in the League of Legends Demacia region, but nothing too specific was mentioned. This is all a big push for both Riot Games and Riot Forge, looking to introduce new players to the League of Legends universe, but it's also an epic way to leverage their current roster of characters for fans.
It's time for our mid-show break. When we come back, we've got more on the Halo TV series hitting Paramount Plus next year, as well as the biggest announcements from Disney Plus Day. You don't want to miss any of it. And we're back. Disney Plus fans have a ton to look forward to with new Marvel, Star Wars, and original content hitting the platform over the coming months. But before we dive into that, Master Chief is waking up from cryosleep again, and this time it's in his own television series. Take a look.
During today's Xbox 20th Anniversary Showcase, we got our first proper look at the long-awaited Halo TV show. Well, I guess the second look if you caught the teaser when it leaked on Facebook earlier this morning. In any case, the very short video shows a flesh and blood Master Chief dramatically suiting up, a glimpse of his 117 designation, and a look at his helmet, while Cortana says,
"Hello, Master Chief."
All in all, everything shown looks extremely Halo, but it's also not much to go on. Master Chief will be played by Pablo Schreiber, who's best known for his work on The Wire, Law & Order SVU, and Orange is the New Black. Meanwhile, Jen Taylor will be reprising her role as Cortana. The live-action series was first announced back in 2018 and was originally slated to air on Showtime, but has since been scooped up by Paramount Plus as part of its original streaming library. While we've had a smattering of TV show-shaped Halo projects like the Halo 4 Forward Unto Dawn web series and its follow-up Nightfall, there's also the infamous Neil Blomkamp project that never materialized beyond the short film Landfall. It seems like the Halo show will be the most substantial live-action addition yet. Though again, we really don't have much to go on besides this teaser. What do you think about the back of Master Chief's head? Is it bald enough? Did they get his armor the right shade of green? Sound off in the comments or something, I don't know. Anyway, let's swap halos for horns because we have some potential Daredevil news. Industry leaker Daniel RPK, or RPK News on Twitter, posted a partial screenshot of a talent grid for an unannounced Daredevil project from Marvel Studios. The image is cropped so it doesn't reveal any actual talent involved or establish if this is a movie or another series, but Daniel RPK has had some good info in the past, and it's Monday, so news is slow, and we're running with it. I'm sorry. Ever since the cancellation of Netflix's series in 2018, there's been a ton of fan demand for more Daredevil. The rights to the character only reverted to Disney last year, so if something's in the works, it is probably in the very early stages, but based on how many new Disney Plus Marvel projects have been announced, that is clearly a priority for the company these days.
There's a new preview for Disney Plus's upcoming Obi-Wan series, but let's get the disappointing news out of the way first. There is no trailer just yet. Sorry folks, take it up with Disney. But what we do have is a new concept art showcasing a lightsaber duel between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. In the short video preview, star Ewan McGregor said Obi-Wan has just one more mission left, the protection of baby Luke. Series director Deborah Chow also hyped the return of Hayden Christensen to Star Wars, saying, quote, "We couldn't tell the story of Obi-Wan Kenobi without addressing Anakin or Vader." McGregor also said of the potential rematch that, quote, "Having another swing at each other might be quite satisfying for everybody." Christensen's last on-screen appearance in a Star Wars film was 2005's Revenge of the Sith, which saw him turn into Darth Vader. However, he did have a small voice cameo in The Rise of Skywalker in 2019, along with several other Jedi luminaries from Star Wars past. Darth Vader, the character, was last seen on the big screen in Rogue One in that memorable hallway scene. You know the one. Can you imagine this version of Darth Vader going up against an older Obi-Wan? Well, there was that fan film Star Wars SC-38 from a couple of years ago, so hopefully we get something like that in the Disney Plus series. Obi-Wan doesn't have an exact release date just yet, but it is still scheduled for sometime in 2022. And that's not the only Disney Plus news. Today is Disney Plus Day 2021, a day where the Disney gods bestow upon us mere mortals all the things that we can look forward to in the coming year. Disney revealed a trailer for the new Baymax series, a peek at a Boba Fett documentary, concept art for Cars on the Road, which brings back Owen Wilson and Larry the Cable Guy, first looks at the Princess and the Frog follow-up Tiana, the Zootopia short-form series Hocus Pocus 2, a clip from Peter Jackson's Beatles documentary, a trailer for the Proud Family revival, a trailer for Will Smith's Nat Geo series, a trailer for Chris Hemsworth's Nat Geo series, a trailer for the new series Intertwined, concept art for the Spiderwick Chronicles. Ooh, one second. And we haven't even got to the Marvel stuff yet. There are new logos for Marvel Zombies, Agatha, House of Harkness, Secret Invasion, Ironheart, I Am Groot, What If Season 2, Moon Knight, She-Hulk, and, get this, X-Men 97. That's right, the classic 90s era animated series is coming back. And that still wasn't everything. Head on over to IGN for a complete list of announcements at Disney Plus Day.
Now we got a bit more proof that more than one Spider-Man not named Tom Holland will be making an appearance in the upcoming Spider-Man No Way Home film. Yeah, and while Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield weren't revealed in the latest trailer drop, Sony left us some subtle signs that would lead us fans to speculate that we'll be seeing more than a single spectacular Spider-Man swinging on set. Now the trailer appears to include an obvious attempt to hide a spoiler, like how the Avengers Infinity War and Endgame trailers had all sorts of fake or modified shots, but we know what to look for now. Now let's start with the Brazilian version of the new No Way Home trailer, which you might have seen by now as it's been making its rounds on the web. Now in it, you see Tom Holland's Spider-Man leaping towards Jamie Foxx's Electro, Sandman, and Lizard Man. Or the Lizard, I guess. Now this lizard man named the Lizard might need to go see a doctor about that neck of his, as you can clearly see the lizard spazzing out as he almost uncontrollably turns and looks to his left, as if he just saw Captain America in his peripheral.
Don't say it. Don't you say it.
On your left.
Come on!
On your left indeed. Or maybe this lizard man is getting punched in the lizard face by the Invisible Man. But last I checked, that's a Universal monster, not a Marvel superhero. Now Sony's editors might want us to believe otherwise, but fans immediately speculated that this particular shot edited out either Maguire or more likely Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, and that in the actual shot from the final version of the movie, we'll see the three villains clash with all three Spider-Man. Now, it's a logical assumption, seeing as there's no way a single Spider-Man would be so bold as to try and make a move on three main villains at once and expect to survive. And while Doctor Strange is involved, I doubt he gave Peter Parker some weird power to, I don't know, bend air and smack the lizard in the face. Now there's also this scene from the trailer that's a little telling of what we can expect.
You're not Peter Parker.
Okay, now while that line doesn't flat out confirm that Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is in the film, it does allude to there being more than one Spider-Man. Now as such, the potential of us seeing all three Spider-Mans fight side by side is seemingly possible as we approach that December 17th theater release. Now honestly, I'll tell you right now, if we don't see Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield show up in the trailers as they drop, I'm fine with that. Like, I think it'll be more satisfying to all of us seeing them make their grand appearance on the big screen. Like, you already know they'll both make an epic entrance with audiences going insane in theaters. Now let's just save that energy for when it drops. But you know what, I want to toss things to you all. What do y'all think? Are we gonna see three Spideys web slinging it up together? Do y'all think that's gonna happen? Comment down below, let's discuss. Now more Spidey news, we should talk about the No Way Home ending. Yeah, relax y'all, no spoilers. I haven't seen the movie myself either. It's not even out yet, yeah. Now, but talking to GQ, Tom Holland revealed that the ending was written in real time on set. Yeah, now apparently Holland felt the script wasn't up to snuff, so he kept stopping to talk to the director, John Watts, behind the camera. Yeah, now they apparently sat down to come up with new ideas, which were then pitched to the writers who rewrote it to fit within the film. Now GQ reported that rewrites were done almost on a daily basis. Now, this was being done while filming, which is crazy. Like Kanye West did the very same thing with his latest album, Donda, and honestly, I'll tell you right now, that is subjectively a masterpiece in my eyes, so honestly hoping we get something special when the movie releases. And finally, your final piece of No Way Home news for today. The bigwigs behind the Spider-Man movies want Tom Holland to continue to play the titular character for years to come. But Holland is not so sure about that move. Yeah. Now, continuing his interview with GQ, Holland spoke about hanging up the web shooters and the future of the webhead by saying, quote, "Maybe it is time for me to move on. Maybe what's best for Spider-Man is that they do a Miles Morales film. If I'm playing Spider-Man after I'm 30, I've done something wrong." Well, I'll tell you right now, Mr. Holland, if you can still fit into the Spidey suit at the age of 30, well, you've done something right. You know, probably, I don't know, a solid diet filled with vegetables or something. I don't know. Anyways, while Spider-Man is historically depicted as a youthful superhero, there is precedence in the comics of him being well into his 30s. But to Holland's point, eventually he'll have to move on, and maybe Marvel Studios should make way for a fresh take on the web slinger by exploring how Miles Morales might fit into the MCU. Like, we already have 3 Peter Parkers, we got 3 PPs, bring in 1 MM, shall ya? Come on, do it for the people. Now, with Into the Spider-Verse and PS5 exclusive Miles Morales video game, remember that game? Y'all remember it, it was dope. The character has become more mainstream and recognizable than ever. Now, I doubt any of us out there would object to seeing a live action version of Miles Morales spinning up some webs, maybe as a protege of Tom Holland's Parker to start. You know, the sky's the limit on the big screen. Y'all already know.
I'm Stella Chung, and that was your Weekly Fix. We'll be back here next Saturday with more of the biggest gaming and entertainment news of the week. See you then.